Hey everyone, it's Simon here with a review of Daggerhood. Daggerhood is a 2D adventure platformer available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita as a cross-buy, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and PC. Now you need to have a unique selling point now, basically I think, if you're going to make a decent 2D pixelated platformer game. There's so many of them out there now, and Daggerhood wears its title in its sleeve. You play as a thief that's been thrown down into some dungeons, and you've got 100 levels to get from one end to the other and continue progressing. The way how you primarily do that is by throwing your dagger, which you can teleport to. So most of the levels are designed so that you need to jump or fall down or something like that, and then throw the dagger at the precise moment, and then press the button again to basically warp to where that dagger is. And so that then gets you to places that you couldn't get to, or places that are like covered in loads and loads of spikes around the wall, so you'll just have to time it right. It's a one-hit death, so if you get it wrong you do walk back to the beginning of the level, but at least for the first, say, half of the game, the levels are really quite short, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in trouble for doing that. That game mechanic, though, for me personally, was the reason why I was like, oh, that's quite cool, but then in playing it, I was like, I'm so frustrated. And the reason why, and it sounds stupid, but I'll explain it. When you throw the dagger, your character is still on the screen, naturally, because it's not teleporting through the dagger. But what it means is that, especially as the levels get more complicated later on, your character is quite often in the middle of a jump, falling down somewhere, being surrounded by enemies. So when you're throwing the dagger to try and get out, you're really vulnerable. And what I found quite often through the level design was that I was still waiting for the dagger to hit the place where I needed it to be for me to safely warp. And I'd already been killed, either by falling into spikes, an enemy randomly just going at me, even though it had sat still that entire time. And it just felt a bit clumsy and clunky. And that frustration, I felt, really hindered my enjoyment with this game. That was then amped up when I hit every 20 levels as a boss battle, and the difficulty spikes for those, because you can kind of amble your way through each level, because you can go at your own time and pace pretty much, unless you're doing a speed run to get all of these collectible fairies that are in each loads of the levels. And yeah, it felt like a difficulty spike that then exasperated the issue that I had with this dagger throwing mechanic. Great in design, less great in practice for me personally. The last thing I wanted to mention about this, because the controls were okay, the music was okay-ish, I didn't really get into it. I was hoping for a stomping chiptune set and I didn't get one. The last thing I wanted to talk about this is that Ratalaika Games is the publisher, and they are notorious for really easy trophies or achievements. And I think for once this was actually a huge detriment to Daggerhood. You can get the trophy on this game for the Platinum by level 12 or 13-ish, I think. And that's essentially by completing some levels, collecting some fairies and 3 stars during your playthrough of these levels. And you can do those on repeated runs. So you can do like a getting through without dying, and that gets you your 3 stars pretty much. And then like a timed one to get the collectible fairy that disappears after a few seconds. Now, there is some skill involved in that, but it's very low level, and to have a platinum trophy given to you by like level 12 or 13 when you've got 100 levels feels, to me, really, really short-sighted. Someone has gone to an incredible length of and depth of time to produce this game altogether, and I bet a good 80% of people got the platinum and was like, cool, done, delete. And some people have probably never even seen the bosses, and I feel that's a real shame, just for the game developer rather than the publisher itself. So yeah, bit of a statement on things there. And normally I don't have a problem with easy trophy lists, but this one bugged me for some reason. So yeah, Daggerhood, not necessarily a big recommendation from me. If you like these types of games, this has probably already been on your radar, but I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to do this. Particularly as I've just started playing The Messenger, which is an absolutely stunning 2D platformer with pixel graphics and a killer soundtrack, so I'd recommend that over Daggerhood any day of the week. Thanks very much for watching, you guys take care, enjoy, happy gaming.
This channel is just one of my many projects that cover games, music and film. If you enjoy any of these and would consider supporting me to develop further in the future, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Satorimon. Thank you for your time and for watching the video.